friends, it's Jere from Jere Marie and Company. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making one of my favorite fall recipes, yummy pumpkin bread. Follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. We're going to be featuring some of our great products from the store and stick around for a special surprise. So we're going to get started right away with this great recipe. I've had this recipe forever, ever since I first got married, and I make it all the time. It's my favorite pumpkin bread recipe. I'm going to have a little bit of peach tea because I'm a Southern girl. Let's have a little drink and get started. This is one of my favorite things that we got in this year. This cute little loaf pan from Mud Pie. It says, pumpkin but the best. Isn't that cute? So I'm gonna bake my pumpkin bread in that. It comes with a recipe and it comes with this really cute little pumpkin spatula. But I am gonna use my original old-fashioned recipe. This recipe makes one loaf, mine makes 3. And I'm feeding a bunch of hungry people, so I'm gonna make 3 loaves. This little pan has a really special little secret, but I'm not going to show you yet what it is. So let's get started making our pumpkin bread. Hang on to see the secret. For this recipe, we're going to use 3½ cups of all-purpose flour, 3 cups of sugar that I measured in my 3-cup measuring cup that I just love because it holds 3 cups and you only have to measure once. 2½ teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cloves, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. My wet ingredients are 1 cup of oil, 4 room temperature eggs, 2/3 cup of water, and the delicious pumpkin. Now I'm going to add nuts to my recipe. You don't have to if you don't want to. Some people prefer without nuts. Some people want nuts in it. I like nuts in mine, and I'm using pecans because I'm a Texas girl, but you could also use walnuts. I've showed you all the ingredients, and now we're going to get started. But first, I want to share a little special secret with you today. Have you noticed my apron? This apron I've had for a long time. My mother made it for me for fall. It's supposed to be for my Thanksgiving baking and fall cooking, and I dug it out of my drawer today and decided to put it on so I could share it with you guys. She was a great seamstress. She sewed all of my clothes growing up, and she was a fabulous cook. So I'm hoping that Helen will give me some of her helpful hints today as I make this pumpkin bread for you. So we're gonna start with the dry ingredients, but first I wanna show you this fabulous bowl. It's a Mason cash bowl that we sell at the store. It's been made since the 1800s. It has this great little rim that you can hold on to. I am in love with these bowls. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So let's start with our dry ingredients. Get the big bowl over here for the dry stuff. So we've got our 3 cups of flour. Now my recipe says to sift the flour. I haven't sifted flour in a long time, so I'm just gonna whisk it a little bit. I whisk it to kind of lighten it up because that's what sifting does. And then I'm gonna add my sugar. Look at that sugar, here it goes. And I'm gonna whisk that all together again. Look, I just, see how great that cup is? You don't have to measure but once. So I've got my 3 cups of sugar that I've just poured in, and I use this great 3-cup measuring cup. You need to get one because you're gonna love it. So I'm whisking that around a little bit to stir it up. See how I can hold on to this bowl? Now let's add some salt. Everything's better with salt. 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Mix that up good. Come on out. Got it. 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Oh, the cinnamon makes it so good. Nutmeg, always a favorite of mine. 1 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1 teaspoon of ground cloves. When I opened the ground cloves and started measuring them, the whole kitchen just smelled fabulous. So these are our dry ingredients. And a little secret when you're working with nuts is to mix your nuts in with your dry ingredients because it coats the nuts and it keeps them from all sinking to the bottom of your dish. So I've got about 1 cup of pecans that I'm putting in here. They're kind of roughly chopped pecans. I love pecans in my bread. So I'm mixing this all up. My Jere bracelet likes to make noise. Here we go. Now we've got that all mixed up. We're going to set it aside over here. Next, we're gonna start with our wet ingredients. So we're gonna put in our pumpkin. The secret to this recipe is that it's very moist. And the secret to making it so moist is the amount of pumpkin that we use. I like a moist pumpkin bread. I don't want it dry, I want it moist, so it just kind of sticks together. So we've got 1 can of pumpkin. We're going to add 1 cup of oil. Now some recipes call for butter, but this is, like I said, my original that I've used forever. So I'm going to add my oil, a cup of oil. Just vegetable oil is great. Now look at that. It's gonna get all mixed up together. And then 4 room temperature eggs. I'm gonna put them right here. Egg number 1. I'm gonna mix it in. That way, if we do them one at a time and we get a little bit of eggshell, we can get it out. Because I've been known to get eggshell in my cooking before. And they think it's a nut, but it's not. It's a shell. Here we go. This is egg number 3. Okay. Number 3. And 1 more egg to give it that richness that an egg gives it. The oil, the egg, and the pumpkin is the secret to the moistness of this recipe. Okay. Now I'm going to take my mixer and I'm going to mix that up. I'm using my handheld mixer. And I'm just going to mix it till it kind of incorporates together. Oh, it smells good already. Mother, help me out here. My mother was a wonderful cook. I always say that's why my husband married me, was for my mom's cooking. She was a great cook. She'd get on to me if my bowl was messy when I was cooking. Don't be so messy. So we're just mixing that all in together, just like that, to incorporate it. We're not beating it, we're just getting it mixed together so it's all incorporated. I wish you could smell this. I wish we had smell-o-vision or whatever. Now let's add our 2/3 cup of water. There we go. Mix it up a little bit. If you ever do a lot of baking or a lot of cooking, you will just love this bowl. I have some bowls that my mother had that I got, and I've used in my whole married life, but when I got these, those are kind of up on the high shelf now, and now I use these all the time. Because look how great that is. I love the design. They come in all colors, and they're so easy to grip and hold on to. What a great gift for any lady in your life. I'm thinking about giving my sister one for Christmas. I think she'll love it. We've got our wet ingredients mixed. We've got our dry ingredients mixed. It's time to put them together and let the magic happen. Let's just do a little at a time. This is an easy recipe. It really doesn't take, hours to make, but you can throw flour on your face and act like it did. Like just dust your face with flour.
Let's see you do that.
Put a little more wet in. Now we want to get all that fabulous goodness of pumpkin in, and egg and oil. Like I said, the oil, the egg, and the pumpkin is what gives it that nice moist taste. Looky there. Get it all out. Mother would always say, get it all out. Don't waste any of it. Okay, Mom. I can hear her telling me that. Now we're going to just mix this all up. Now we need to scrape the sides of the bowl so that we make sure we get all the dry ingredients moistened. You don't have to beat this to death. You just kind of need to moisten your dry ingredients. and get it incorporated together. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells really good. I want to bite right now. Here we go. I'm going to take this, a loaf of this to the manager meeting and let the girls taste it. I have little small mini loaves, and I've always made them for Christmas and given them to friends and family. Every year I make this, and it's just one of my favorite things. I love it. Let's see how we're doing. I think one year I was making it. I think I put a cup of salt in it. I was measuring, and it was supposed to be sugar. I was supposed to be measuring my cups of sugar, and I measured a cup of salt, and I looked down and I thought, oh my gosh, was that sugar or salt? So I said, Vernon, come here, taste this. Oh, it was salt. So I had to throw it all out and start all over. But I think I got it right today. You know, sometimes you make mistakes when you're cooking, and especially if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. And sometimes when you got kids running around, you don't always pay attention as much as you should. So here we got it. I think it's mixed up nice. You see the nuts, they're floating around. They're not sunk to the bottom. That's what the flour helps you do. So now I'm going to share my little secret. Are you ready? Okay. So we've got our pan that says pumpkin, but the best, right here. Now, I wanted to bake this pan for my pumpkin bread because look what's inside. 3 little pumpkins. I had 3 kids. There's Amber, Eric, and Chris, 3 little pumpkins. And so we're going to bake this. It's going to have, when we turn it over, the pumpkins are going to come out on top. But before we bake it, we've got to make sure it comes out. So I like to use Baker's Joy because to me, it makes it come out. And I don't want to make a mistake. So I'm really going to spray those little pumpkins really good. I'm just getting it really sprayed in there because if it doesn't come out, I'll be upset. What's your favorite fall recipe? Do you like pumpkin bread? Do you like pumpkin bars or pumpkin cake? Or, hey, what about pumpkin pie? That's one of my favorites. My mother would just say, look, you sloppy girl. She's right. Okay, let's talk for a minute while we're letting the oven get nice and hot at 350 degrees. Tell me, do you like your pumpkin bread with or without nuts? Do you like pecans? Do you like walnuts? Leave a comment and let me know what your favorite pumpkin holiday treat is. Is it a pie? Is it a brownie? Is it a cake? Pumpkin bars? Pumpkin bread? Or gooey pumpkin butter cake? That's Amber's favorite, I think. She loves that. When the kids were little, I would make this a lot. Every fall, for sure, I'd make pumpkin bread. And a lot of times, I would slice a piece, give it to them as they walked out the door for school, and they would eat it on the way to school. And then as soon as they got home, that was the first snack they wanted when they walked in the door. Where's the pumpkin bread, Mom? Yes, I'm a sloppy cook. My mother would say, you're such a sloppy cook. Well, I can't help. I got a little bit of pumpkin on my sleeve. Neat cooks can't be trusted, just like skinny ones. I am going to use my 3-cup scoop. Or measuring cup, my 3-cup measuring cup, and I'm going to pour it in here. All right, we're going to pour this in here. A little bit more. Oh my, that looks so good. Okay. Oops, Mama, I know I'm sloppy. I've got my pumpkin but the best pan filled up to about 3/4 of the way to the top. I don't put it all the way because it'll overflow and then you'll have pumpkin all over your oven and my mother would really think I was sloppy. But pumpkin but the best is about 3/4 of the way to the top. And then we're gonna put it in a 350-degree oven. My recipe says to cook it for 1 hour and 15 minutes. That seems like a long time, but we're gonna put it in. We're gonna use a toothpick to test it and make sure that it is properly cooked. I cooked my pumpkin bread about 50 minutes in a 350-degree oven, and I've taken it out. I've let it cool for about 10-15 minutes, and we're gonna turn it over and see if it comes out of the pan okay. I've taken my bread right here and put it on my board. I'm gonna turn my rack over on the top of it, and then I'm going to flip it over. Come on out, honey. I like these little handles. Look at that, OMG. Here, let's turn it around so you can see it. 3 little pumpkins. It came out perfectly. Came right out of my pan. Who's ready for a nice warm slice of pumpkin bread? I am. Oh my goodness. Look at that loveliness. I think all it needs is a pat of butter. I'm ready to devour this. Ooh, this looks so good. I love the smell. It's nice and warm. I put a nice fresh pat of butter. Let's see how it tastes. Thanks for cooking with me today. Make sure you smash the subscribe button. Come back and cook with me because I've got lots more recipes in my pocket. Happy fall.